Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning back into the Redmen TV. I am your host, Errol Smith, and Liverpool have absolutely wiped the floor with Sparta Prague this evening in the Europa League, winning 6-1, 11-2 on aggregate, and we are through into the quarterfinals of the Europa League comfortably. It was an enjoyable watch along. It was an enjoyable game, definitely. But this is your match and your fan reactions to the game. So please do drop some comments over on YouTube now this evening if you're watching live, or over on Twitter for us as well, please, ladies and gents. How are we? How are we all feeling this evening? Because it was a fully entertaining game for a multitude of different reasons. If I'm honest with you, I think Sparta didn't do themselves any favour early doors. You know, when you just think, weather the storm, 10, 15, 20 minutes, find your way into the game, earn the right to play a little bit of football yourselves, and then try and go for Liverpool. Try and get some credibility back as a European side against this Liverpool team tonight, really, and do your fans and yourselves proud. And within the first 5-6 minutes, it all capitulated. Sloppy passes out from the back. I don't know why they tried to play out from the back. I don't know what they thought or what joy they thought a team of that quality was going to get against this Liverpool side, which can be relentless and pressure to death at times. And we did that. We pressured them into mistakes, and we was ruthless, absolutely ruthless. And it was good to see, to be honest with you, because we missed a couple of chances on the weekend. Of course, the opposition was a lot tougher in City. However, there was still some clear-cut chances that Liverpool could have buried, and we didn't. So tonight it was nice to see that we had enough of a ruthless streak in us to really get the job done early and make it very, very comfortable. I can see just by the interactions on the chat and on Twitter, all the murmuring seem to be about what's happened post our match. If you haven't already caught up, Bayer Leverkusen have managed to turn round twice now. They've come back from 2-0 down against Karabag, and they've turned it round when it mattered most. They've avoided extra time, and they've won in the 97th minute, a schick winner there at the back post. So I think a lot of people are tuning into the coverage and content for the Leverkusen game, and which we can't blame them for. But if you've tuned in to Redmen all evening, thank you very much. We do appreciate it, and I can finally get to some of your comments here. And the first one here is from Andy App. He even says, can we just take a second to look at that Leverkusen team and the attitude that pushes them? Tell me that Xabi is not natural to take over Klopp's throne. I think that says I've got too many things popping up on my screen, but yeah, no, that he's right. Yeah, you can't tell me that Xabi is not the natural heir to the Anfield throne. It's true. There's a lot of murmurings. There's a lot of people that would definitely give Xabi Alonso all the time in the world to come over as Liverpool manager at the end of the season, and we will just have to see how that one pans out. He also comes back and says, Andy App says again, what does he say here? Also, hell of a win across the two legs. Will be interesting to see what happens next. Onwards and upwards over to Old Trafford. Yes, certainly. That's where Liverpool's next game will take place, ladies and gentlemen. We do take on our most fierce rivals in Manchester United on the weekend in the FA Cup. We want one more game, and then we're back on the road down to Wembley Way, which would be absolutely fantastic. Just in regards to this game, though, you know, how are you feeling afterwards? Was you surprised by the scoreline? Was you surprised by the team selection? Was you surprised how strong we went? Any of the goal scorers surprised you? Let us know in the comments as well, and I will try and read out as many of those as we can while we're still live this evening. I've got Esham that says, that was a hard-fought victory. He was so touch and go throughout the game. I think he's been a little bit disingenuous there, ladies and gents, but you know what? Liverpool have a tendency of making things hard work for themselves, but tonight there was no mistaking about it. We was on the front foot. We pressed them to death, and I think, as I say, they crumbled under the pressure. They couldn't play out from the back, and I don't know why they chose to go for that tactic, but they couldn't play out from the back when it mattered, and Liverpool just caught them lacking. They didn't have the quality. Liverpool caught them dawdling on the ball and punished them for it, and some really nice goals and build up in the play. And I know that means they had a lot of fun in the watch along, and we made a number of jokes about it, but it was just the way that Liverpool approached this game. They didn't have to run themselves into the ground at any real point to get the job or get things over the line, but there was a very controlled air in the performance tonight. And I think when we did pick up the pace in that final third. Everything just snapped and clicked into place effortlessly for us tonight, which was really, really nice to see. Veronica with the £5 super chat. Thank you very much, Veronica. Says, well pleased for Bobby Clark getting his first goal. Yeah, it was a good goal. Bring on the quarter-finals, absolutely. If we go over to Twitter now, just before we go back to the chat, I've got the City is red here saying, we're saving 7 for Sunday. Great game, well played, Cody Gakpo. Yeah, the funny thing about Cody Gakpo tonight, ladies and gents, is that, you know, he ends up robbing a goal off Harvey Elliott. That means the adamant Harvey scored, but he does get a vital flick on the ball, which takes it away from the goalkeeper, so it does go down as a Cody Gakpo goal. He gets a second goal on the evening. I thought his first goal was taken really well. He was, you know, in the right place at the right time. I thought it was a great run from him. But I think when you look at it, in those moments, that's where you really want a player like Cody Gakpo, who's on a little bit on the fringes of things, slightly out of form, not playing to the levels that we would probably want from him. He played well tonight. There was a lot of good hold-up play from him. There was a lot of determination. He was driving with the ball. He had a good couple of turns, flicks, and then obviously the important finishes to go along with it. Was on a brace, could have had a hat-trick, probably could have done better with his 2 last big chances of the game, if we're being really critical of him. But in the end, I'm glad that hopefully that enabled him to get a little bit of confidence and really start to believe in himself again, especially in a Liverpool shirt, because last couple of weeks he's just seemed a little bit out of sorts. He hasn't really seemed to be able to get the best form on the pitch. And again, I don't know whether that is a confidence thing. I don't know if it's a lack of rhythm thing. I don't know whether it's been played in so many different positions so far this season. He's not really been able to find his groove. But if we are going to continue to feel like every single game between now and the end of the season is a big final, and it needs a win, and it's a must win. We need every single player to be match fit and up for it and being able to run through brick walls for Jurgen Klopp and the rest of the side. So I absolutely made up that Cody Gakpo was able to get amongst the goals tonight. And, you know, obviously when you've got an opposition who don't possess the quality of, you know, your Cities and your Arsenals and your Spurs and Newcastles and all those teams within the league, you do want to make sure that your big game players do step up. And I think Cody Gakpo, for me, he's probably in there for a show for man of the match, if I'm being honest with you as well. Glyn on Twitter also says, glad we managed to see that one out in the end as well. Yeah, I think that's it. I think we were saying it tongue-in-cheek because as Liverpool fans in Europe, we have this knack for doing things the hard way. So when we have evenings like that where we can kind of just get the popcorn out and just chill and relax, it is really nice to see and it's really enjoyable. But, you know, make no mistake about it, the following games from now until, you know, the end of this competition, there are going to be some tough opposition in there. And, you know, I'll talk you through some of the teams that are left in it before I jump over to the other show in a minute, to just kind of give you a full picture of the sides that we can come up against, because as far as I'm concerned, there is still a number of sides in this competition that make this competition feel more like the Champions League, especially as now they're in the knockouts as well. Tom McCartney says, can't wait for Sunday, let's go and end their season being Man U. Yes, absolutely. And Moran says, I hope the new manager can continue this. Well, yeah, that's why I found it really interesting in regards to Xabi Alonso when he was 2-1 down with a couple of minutes to spare. It really was, does he have that dog in him? You know, has he instilled that never say die attitude and mentality in this Bayer Leverkusen side? And, you know, the answer's there, the evidence is there to see. You know, they've gone unbeaten all season, and right at the death, they snatched victory again from Karabakh, who've obviously poured everything into those 2 games over the tie. So all credit goes to Xabi Alonso and what his coaching staff are doing at the moment over at Leverkusen, because whatever they're doing, it's working, and we could do with some of that juice come next season, really. As we know, we're losing a man who's instilled that for everybody in this city. So yeah, it will be very interesting to see. Adam Harrison says, felt like Liverpool were through last week, so a bit wounded. Leverkusen got through. I'm not necessarily wounded. It's going to be interesting to see, really, because, as I say, both teams are playing some really good football at the moment, by all accounts, and I'll be the first to admit I've not watched a great deal of Leverkusen. I think a lot of the stuff that I've seen from them have been highlights and clips here and there across social media. And, the feeling that I get is that they do play really good football. They're brave on the ball. They're prepared to play out from the back. They're prepared to make sure that everybody gets a touch. They all seem to know the system. And then when they attack with real quality. So when you put all that together and, if you elevate that and add that into this potential Liverpool side, or you use the tools that this Liverpool side have, with that system, that could be a frightening prospect. Alternatively, when you look at it head to head, the two right now, they'd be a great matchup for each other. And I think the playing styles would make for a very, very entertaining battle somewhere down the line. Does that have to be in this competition this season? Who knows? If it is to be this season, where would you want it? Would you want it in a quarter-final, a semi-final, or a final? Again, I'll leave that to you guys in the comments to decide, I'll be honest. I've got David Wright saying, Edwards, Hughes and Alonso, can you imagine? I think that's the scenario that a lot of Liverpool fans are hoping and praying for at the moment. And understandable. I can fully get behind it and get why the announcement of Edwards is big news, and I think that it's left a lot of Liverpool fans feeling a lot more reassured that after Jurgen Klopp goes, there is a solid contingency plan. We've seen it with some other big clubs in seasons gone by when they've lost really, legendary figurehead managers, and they haven't had the contingency plan. They haven't had the structures in place to enable a level of, a standard that is sustainable. The standard has dropped significantly, and they've really struggled to rediscover that. And I think hopefully the people in the high up places with that bird's eye view of what Liverpool Football Club has become over the last decade will probably want to avoid a lot of those pitfalls, and the best way to do that is making sure that you do have the right people in place and have a strong contingency plan for all possibilities. So for me, I think it seems like smart business, and it would be savvy to go about it in such a way. But again, it's not a foregone conclusion that Xabi Alonso will be the next manager of Liverpool, and there is still plenty of twists and turns for this season, let alone what will happen in the summer. So he is going to be a highly sought after manager given what he's achieved so far this season, and if he can continue that and go on to win the Bundesliga, he'll probably be one of the sought after managers across Europe, and understandable. So Liverpool are going to have to go in and be serious, offer the right money, give him the right incentive, let him know about the project, what we're aiming to continue to build, and hopefully that will be enough to really whet his appetite. Just in regards to this game, just before I wrap up, I do want to go back, not across to Twitter for any particular comments, but I do want to have a little look at Twitter really to just see if I can, because they was scrolling up before. I might not be able to find them now, but I'll just keep talking and hopefully that they do. I just want to know who we could potentially draw, just to kind of keep you all in the loop. I think this one might be good. So the Europa League quarterfinals are absolutely stacked. You've got the likes of Liverpool, Milan, Bayern, Roma, Benfica, Marseille, Atalanta and West Ham. Now, if you told me that they were all to be drawn in the Champions League, there was low seeded pots potentially, with that, of course, the absence of Liverpool there, you'd believe it. You could believe that all of those teams would be definitely within the group stages of the Champions League, and a couple of those teams in that quarter-final list would probably, on another season, be betting against themselves or betting on themselves to progress into the knockouts of the Champions League. You've got AC Milan that have won the Champions League a number of times. We've played Roma down the years in the Champions League. Benfica we've played in knockout competitions. Darwin Nunez probably being the one standout one in recent seasons gone by. Atalanta have had a little bit of a flirt with the Champions League in recent seasons. And Marseille here and there about every now and again. So definitely you can understand when you see the teams like that why Jurgen Klopp has taken this competition seriously, because at some point it is going to get into the serious business end of the season, and you've got to have all of your players ready, prepared at that level. And when you look at the level there, that is what you would consider European heritage, European levels for a big competition. So hopefully it makes the occasions feel that little bit more special, because those away grounds across Europe there will be all fantastic settings. But, of course, you will always fancy Liverpool to do the business at Anfield as well. And I think we will be the one side that all of those teams will want to avoid when the draw happens tomorrow around about 12 o'clock. Make sure that you tune into the Redmen TV as well from about, I think they're saying it's about 12 o'clock. They're going to go live. They're going to be Steve, it's going to be Dan, and it's going to be Chris Pay Jack, Mr. European competition. Yeah, he's just there for them all. He loves it. So yeah, ladies and gents, there's not much more to say. Liverpool were absolutely brilliant this evening. Your energy in the watch along was fantastic as well. But yeah, Liverpool have done the job again, comfortably cruised through to the quarterfinals of the Europa League. We'll find out what fate awaits us tomorrow around midday. But for now, ladies and gents, I'm your host, Errol Smith. This is the Redmen TV, and I will see you all again soon.
Thank you so very, very much for checking out the video. If you enjoyed it, drop a like. The season is now well underway. If you need extra Redmen content, be it podcast, videos, documentaries, interviews, and general shows, fill your boots on redmenplus.com today.